What's up, guys? We are back with another 1420 FM podcast here. Today, our guest is Trusted Rico, store owner of Trusted Kicks down in Milwaukee. Been waiting for this podcast for a good minute, so now we finally running it.
Okay, let's get it.
All right. So first off, how have you been recently?
Okay.
How's it been?
Let me get ready to get comfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, first thing, I want to apologize about being late. I've really been anticipating this podcast interview, so I figured I would be on time. But, in the life of owning a couple stores and businesses, somebody call in, you got to step in, So
no, for sure.
That's life. And then the second thing is life is great. I'm blessed. I think I'm watching myself grow older and the people around me grow older. Y'all, for example,
awesome.
I remember y'all being kids, like my man was doing flips in front of the store.
Right,
You
yeah.
were just on your skateboard. It's a totally different life, and now to watch y'all podcasts on my phone on the flight and look at it and like, oh my God, this is dope. And then y'all ask me to be on it. It's like, it make me feel like the man, like I do all this work and I see everybody around me like Simon's doing something, Ethan's doing that, he's doing that. And when I saw y'all's kids, I was like, no, he's cool. He's already cool. He know what he's talking about,
Yeah.
It's
Man,
dope.
well, I appreciate that.
No, come on, I appreciate you.
All right, so, to start off, tell us about your background. Like, what kind of gravitated you towards the hustle that you got now?
All right. I think the best way to think about what got me to the hustle where I'm at now would probably be fair to say my mother. My mom hustle was a little bit different because she was a very hard worker. Like graduated school early, graduated college early, went to college on a full ride at Madison. My mom was just legend, like principal.
Man.
When I was a kid, legendary, like 3 years old, multiplication, reading super early. Like she was not playing that. Like before we went outside, before we learned how to ride a bike, we had to learn some type of math, let's say equation or something. So my mom was very big on education. And what I'm learning now is just that's why I was just so prepared in certain situations. Like if you want to go beginning, Rico, let's go middle school. Not even middle school, let's go elementary school. Back then I was Luther. That's my real name. I go by Rico after college. But before then I was Luther. Back then, Luther would win a lot of math competitions.
Really?
So you're certified in math?
What? Not certified because I'm learning math grew when I got older. I'm just very good at quick math.
Okay.
Like addition, multiplication,
Sure.
some division. And that was just my mom teaching me. So when I went to school and won these contests, they were just like, oh, man, you're the man. I'm just like, no, I'm not. Like my mom would make me do this if I can go play basketball on my court out back, So I think the hustle came from her. And then if you want to equate it to like middle school is when I equated the hustle to money. Honestly, because what I'm learning is, honest point, I'm very materialistic, but I like things of value.
For sure.
And I figured that out as a kid. Like when I was a kid, the first thing that I ever obsessed over, not clothes, not shoes, was Pokemon cards.
Okay.
Out the jump, out the gate, the very first thing I ever wanted was a Charizard. Like that was the first thing I ever wanted to obtain. Like I'm going to do A plus B to equal the C, which is the Charizard. And like it didn't equal the Charizard, it was just Pokemon cards.
Uh-huh.
But even early on when I was into video games, I learned that at video games I was at the mercy of my parents, my mom, because if I wanted a game, she had to buy it for me. And if I wanted the system, she had to buy it for me because it was so high cost. Mm-hmm. To get into the Pokemon cards, I had to get from my house on 57th and Capitol out to Toys R Us at Northridge, which was really one bus on the 60th Street bus. So once I figured that out, and Pokemon cards are like $10, 12. Like it's an obtainable amount for me as a 6th, 7th grader. That's when the passion for the hustle began.
For sure.
And I think to kind of like make it full circle, my mom was not buying me anything. So that's the point I like to, like when I say anything, like we can break it down to like people say their mom was hard on them. No, my mom, like the Pokemon cards, of course, she made me buy them. I cut grass or was caddying at the time. I'm talking about like I went to high school. Mom was like, I'm buying you one pair of shoes. One. I was like, I don't understand the concept of having one pair for the whole year. She's like, no, one pair of shoes. If you want anything more than that, obtain to have anything more than that, you'll figure out how to buy it. Other than that, I'm going to provide you with the bare necessities. Somewhere to live, go to school, clothes on your back, one pair of shoes. So, even going back to the Pokemon cards, going back and forth, is that when she said no Pokemon cards, she wouldn't buy them for me, I start finding ways to make money. I cut grass with my stepfather. I end up getting a job at AAA Golf Club out on Good Hope Avenue out here in Milwaukee. I went and carried golf bags there when I was in 6th, 7th grade and made like $30, $40 tax-free. And then what I also learned how to do was be economical. Because I always was a kid, I would just ride my bike to Toys R Us. So I would tell my mom, honestly, I did a lot of lying to my mom as a kid. I would tell my mom, I'm going to go ride my bike around the neighborhood. I'm about to go like 10 miles, 12 miles to the other side of town on my bike with my friends to Toys R Us, and we're going to ride all the way back. But she'll never know. Because we can spend the time at the park and stuff. So I think my hustle started with my me wanting Pokemon cards. And I think that's what spawned my entrepreneurship, because as a kid, I was just sitting there looking at the cards like, man, I go through so much to get these cards. When I get to school, everybody's amazed. I got a binder full of Pokemon cards, and they got like 3 in their pocket, to the point where they were down to trade me. Some of their holographics were the nicer ones of the day, for my regular ones, just so they can have a lot, so they can build their collection, I guess. So then I start thinking, like, he gonna take, and this is Pokemon talk, like a Pidgeotto and like 3 other like Geodudes, which I get every pack of cards I open, and I can get his holographic, which back then at the card store was like $25, $30. I was like, okay, that's when I figured out, like, okay, it's value in these products. They can't obtain the product because they're kids. I'm just a kid resourceful enough to go get them at the Toys R Us. Yeah. So that's where I think, as I map back my life, because my dad famously tells a story, because he rarely picked me up from school. So when he was picking me up, he said he remembers the story of me telling him, like, when in the morning he dropped me off, I said, Dad, meet me right here on the corner. He was like, why right here? He's like, it's kind of far from the school. I was like, no, just meet me right here. Because this the days before social media, cell phones. I was telling everybody in school, because of course they banned Pokemon school cards in school. You know, teachers were and administrators back then. I was like, after school, we meeting right here. All the deals y'all want to do, buy Pokemon cards, swap them, we're going to do it right here on this corner after school. My dad said I created a little marketplace, because you got parents on one side of the street because their kids done told them to meet them there. And then the kids coming down the street, and the whole time we coming down the street, we all got our binders out, we talking, we doing deals amongst each other. It's 5 to 7 of us, 10 of us. Wow. We all doing deals, we all making moves. And what I was learning in that moment was that, okay, this thing of value I can take now to the to the card store, which was on Appleton between Capitol and Hampton. I used to ride my bike there too, is that they would buy certain cards for certain amounts. Boom, that blew my mind. My mind is blown at 7th grade, not 7 years old. And like 7th grade, I'm like, hold up. Like, you'll pay more for this card than that card? He was like, yeah, man, like $15 more. So I'm in school. Now I have the knowledge. Another thing I'm learning now as I get older, I look back on it, I'm using the knowledge against the people who don't have the knowledge. I'm like, oh, bro, that card's not as cool. Sorry. Like, even as a kid, I was just being me, just being an asshole dealsman. Like, hey, I'm sorry. I don't want that card. I'm sorry. I'm like, come on, bro, please. I'll give you 2 of them. I'm like, 2? Okay. We'll do 2. We'll do 2 today. Only because I got 2 of these. So I will do 2 for 1. And then I'll take it back to the card store. He like, man, you didn't sold me so many of this card. It's lower in value now. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? He had to explain it to me like, I got too many of them. You have sourced 5 to 6 of them. I don't need them anymore. They're not selling as fast. I was like, okay. And that's when I learned that if I took them too many of one card, it would hurt the value of the cards. So that's why I started just trying to spread out the cards that I gave him to make sure he had a wide array of cards that he wanted. And then now I'm learning I was just a little foot soldier for him, because he would just tell me cards he wanted. Like, I hear about prices of cards now, but I vividly remember the guy at that card store telling me anything first edition, he paying $100 for. Anything first edition, he's paying $100 for. Because I remember as a kid, like if I saw that, I would give up everything to get it. And now when I see first edition this going for that, Logan Paul buying first edition that for this, I'm just like, I see now. I don't know if he knew then. I just think he had the knowledge that he knew that I was a kid who didn't know. And $100 to me was like $1 million. It was like finding a golden ticket, you know? So to ask about the hustle, I got to give it up to Pokemon because I'm seeing came full circle. I got to give it up to my mom with the math because that definitely helps me. And then also, I got to give it up to myself just being real on a podcast because, man, I don't want to say this because I know kids listen to you guys' podcast and they listen to me, but I was just not taking no for an answer from my mother. And that's just the truth in that moment. She was like, she was like, the kids at church, they keep asking about cards. Don't bring no more cards to church because I start doing deals at church. I'm like, cool. So now I got Pokemon cards slid inside my Bible. I'm going to kids' church with Pokemon cards. I'm not bringing my binder now. I got them slid inside my Bible. Like, I was just doing whatever I could to outthink her because I was just trying to advance what I know now was my business back then.
For sure.
And I think now if you relate that back to shoes and the cars and the hot dogs and we done did a little bit of everything when it comes to businesses, I think that's where I kind of learned with the Pokemon. It was a very good moment, which I see now full circle with shoes and kids. Kids pick up shoes. They learn the value of things. They're 15, 16, trying to get over on me at 34, going on 35. And I'm just like, okay, this is the Pokemon thing all over again, just on steroids, you know, so.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Were there any other, besides Pokemon cards, any other stuff that you started flipping or any other moves you had to make to, get what you want, outsmart your mom, all that?
I'm going to give y'all the best information about me right now. I swear this is going to be classic information.
All right.
Okay, so I never told nobody this. Well, everybody knows this, but I never spoke about it on camera just because it comes from a life of my gray area life, but this is some of the things I did as a kid. So as a kid, one of the best things that ever happened to me was the Windows Millennium computer. Okay, so that just sounds old as hell, but Millennium was from year 2000. I had to be maybe in the 7th, 8th grade. My stepfather came home, set it up. I remember the internet went Well, mom got a phone call. The internet was off. Mom's got a call, no internet. Internet didn't work. So in that moment, my whole life changed because the internet changed the world. And I was on that little moment where I was a kid where your parents didn't know what you were doing on the internet. Like I famously tell the story, I could have went to whitehouse.com. It was a porno site. That's how old I was on the internet. The White House didn't own the .com. You see what I'm saying? Like when you went to whitehouse.com, it redirected you to a porn site. Like that's how early I was on the internet. So like I'm talking like AOL chat rooms, and that's when I got involved in stuff that maybe a kid shouldn't have been involved in. But I learned about things like I'm in a chat room. They just like, y'all still buying CDs? Because we was talking about kids trying to get CDs. How could we get divert to get CDs? Because they had the parental advisory on them, and you couldn't buy them at 14, 15 back then. And the kid was like, y'all still buying CDs? And I'm like, yeah, man, like that's how we consume music. I didn't say that, but as a grown up, I know now I said like some kid stuff. Like, yeah, that's how I get my music. He was just like, nah, it's this new thing. You could download the music to your computer. I was like, direct message me. Dude started a whole little chat with him. He's just like, no, it's this new thing called Napster. You could download music to your computer, create a library. You could burn it to a CD. I said, how can you do that? Give me the knowledge on how you can do that, and I swear I would never have to buy a CD again. Explain it to me. He gave me a solid walkthrough, which nowadays is YouTube. But he gave me a very solid walkthrough of how to download it, the website, the files that maybe were corrupted, how to find like a nice file, and then how to rip it to a CD on your computer through a program you could download off Napster. I was like, wait, they got programs? He's like, bro, Napster got everything. So now I'm at my computer. My mind is open because now I'm on Napster. And now I know that people in the streets have figured out about Napster because I'm on the back end. That's how they're selling CDs. The gas station had mixtapes. The people in the streets were selling mixtapes. They were actually just like burnt CDs of the top 20 songs. And they were all compiled on one CD, so you didn't have to buy each person's CD. So I'm watching like the industry change as a kid, and I'm just like, man, nobody at my school, that's a lie, I'm not gonna say that. Only person at my school who sells CDs is Corey. I'm gonna give him his love. His name is Corey. He's a rapper. He's a very good a master CD seller. He was the first one that sold me 6 CDs for 20. He's the one who business model I really kind of copied off of. What happened between me and Corey is that Corey ended up going to public school, which left a void of people who bought CDs that couldn't get them. And what I had was a friend who was making the CDs. So what I did was I said, Corey, tell me what I need to do to be you. Just make it that simple for me. Of course, Corey, being a good businessman that he is now and that he was then, was like, no, bro, you can get them from me. Pay me back. I said, nah, I don't got time for that. Just show me how to do it. One thing that changed my life in that moment, I had to be 15 because I was still riding the bus for sure, is he showed me the multiple CD writer. Basically what that was, I was doing CD to CD. I was doing 1-to-1. He showed me a machine where he was doing 1 to 15. Like it had my writer was like this, and it was going into the bottom of my the bottom of my PC computer. So this was the top part, you put the top CD. To put the bottom part, you put the bottom CD, blank CD at the bottom, other CD at the top, burn it, boom, comes out, rip it to the CD. If you have Napster, rip it off the one CD, you're good. He was ripping that one, putting it in the one, and making it into 15 at once. Mind blown. Mind blown. My mind was blown. I said, this is how he's doing 6 for the 20. I couldn't figure it out. Takes me 15, 20 minutes to make a CD. He's doing 6 for the 20. He's doing 6 for the 20 at school. Had the school on lock. And I see why now. And then I saw why. So then what I did was standard kid stuff. I was working at Jewel Osco at the time. Yep. That's the Osco drug was the part connected to it. I saved up some of my checks, went and bought the CD writer, became the CD seller. That's the first thing I did that really was in high school, my first like real salesman thing. Once I became popular for the CDs, my next venture, which is gonna sound crazy right now, which I never said on tape, so this is a very good podcast right now, is that I used to make fake bus passes. Okay, so let's think about this, because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to break it down. So this is what happened. I see this is what I'm not good at, because I never went into the gray area. But I don't know if I say real names, but my guy who's from Africa, who I went to Mesmer with. So anybody who went to Mesmer with me knows who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say his name just in case he does anything official right now. He was the one who figured out that I had a scanner copier at my house. He's at my house picking up a CD. He tells me, like, bro, your printer is legendary. I'm like, what? He's like, it's a $600 printer. I'm like, bro, it prints color, paper, black. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, you see this? He opened up the top. I never knew it opened. I never knew what the scanner was. I never knew nothing about it. They didn't teach us in school. When I bought it, it probably could have still been taped down, honestly. You know, like that's how much it was unused. And then he was the one that came up with the idea, like anything we scan, we can print. And I was like, man, like, what we gonna scan, you know? Like, we just start scanning stupid stuff like IDs. We weren't making fake IDs. We just scanned our ID. We just scanned anything, pictures, you know, stuff we thought was cool. Until one day, we was on the bus. Mind you, my mom always made me buy my bus pass. I didn't understand that because everybody else's parents took them to school or bought them a bus pass. My mom famously was like, no, you got to go to school. You got to get out the house when it's time to go to school. And I don't care how you get to school. So maybe like a week, I walked to school. No exaggeration. 57th the Capitol to 6th the Capitol. I walked to school multiple times. Yeah. But now I'm learning in that moment, because I'm going to give her flowers, while she probably won't hear this, but she'll understand it if she does. That is what gave me the motivation to have money.
To be able
to do anything, because I didn't want to walk. You see what I'm saying? Like, I had to figure it out. I had to go get the job at the grocery store or go caddy on the weekends and manage my money now, where I'm seeing back now, if I think about it, I seen kids blow their money. Like, they was buying brand new Jordans. I didn't have brand new Jordans. Right now, all they got to their name, honestly, still brand new Jordans. No offense to them. I'm just saying, like, in the moment, just when you're raising your kids, anybody listening to this, is that sometimes you're being hard on them when, like, other people who I knew was just getting stuff given to them, you know, which really didn't work out for them in the long run.
For sure.
I knew for sure every dollar I touched, down to I'm going to go buy candy at the candy store before church for 10 cents. I'm going to go buy a 40-cent stamp to mail something to my dad. You know, like, I had my money managed. Now, I might not be as good with it now because it's, a lot of stuff going on. But in that moment when I was a kid, I was nickel and dime everything. My mom gave me that by being tough on me. Like when she knew I was walking to school, as I look back on it, it was when school first started. It had to be September. It wasn't hot. It wasn't cold. It wasn't far. It wasn't 50 blocks is not as far. It's really not as far as for a kid. And then, like she said, if I really wanted to get on the bus, I would figure it out. And that's what I did. I started working more. I found a job at Joasco. I asked her to borrow me money, which was always my mom's thing. Like, no, I'm not giving you anything. I would loan it to you. Let me know when you're going to have it back to me. And I'm going to come looking for it. But I would loan it to you. So I think as a full circle, you asked me things I did. When I made the bus passes, I think that is what really catapulted my mind into a creative space. Only because the bus passes was something like, okay, his name, dang. Okay, my guy. He was the one like, once we copy him, how are we going to duplicate the reflective numbers? Because that was the thing where I was looking at the bus passes we couldn't get over. So the bus passes, for everybody who's not old enough to remember, bus passes used to be cardboard pieces of paper that you buy from the gas station. They rip it off. It had the perforated ends. They'll give it to you. You show it to the bus driver. You get on the bus. Free. Nonstop. Pay $13. It was, for us kids, it was like the unlimited Uber card. Like, you got a bus pass, we going wherever. If all 5 of us had a bus pass, we could literally go to racing, 7 Mile Fair, and these are the moves we would make as kids. Our parents didn't know, but if we had a bus pass, we could go. So when my friends didn't have bus passes, we would do things like share them or rip transfers, just all type of kid stuff. So when was trying to figure out the color changing numbers, I had the eureka moment one day in class, being creative. This stuff was cool back then for anybody who remembers. Gel pens. Gel pens had a run when girls had every color pen. Like, it came in a case. It was gel. It would just make like silver, pink, blue. They were writing in them. It was cool. It was no typing, no iPad, no laptops in school. None of that existed. So like maybe some desktop computers were definitely there, but like you had pen and paper always. So I was looking at that one day like figured it out. Every week when they changed the color, change the number, we have 100 ink pen set right here at our disposal. Went to work. First one came, it was silver. Bought it from the gas station. Came over, put it on my scanner, scanned it, printed a color copy of it. It looked beautiful. Like, now I think back on it, it was like counterfeiting, because that's what it was, honestly. But it was just like, you knew it was a hit. Hit it with the marker. You had the real one right there, and I had the one thing I always told everybody, because I had to just figure it out. Put it inside your wallet, because your wallet got an ID holder. You can flash the bus driver. You don't never got to show it. If you showed it, it looked a little thin. But if you flashed it or you had it around your neck, because kids had keychains and stuff around their neck, they would never question you. Legit, not one time ever question you. Like, no one listening to this podcast could ever say they got caught with my bus passes. Ever. Bus passes were flawless. Bus passes were flawless. I used that money to fund my first car. So I'm selling bus passes. I'm working at a daycare in the summer, my auntie's daycare. School's about to start again. This is one thing I'm learning in my path of life, and I want everybody listening to this because this is just true life to being a human. When I was always doing something that I knew I shouldn't be doing, I was always smart enough to just stop. Like, that's always been my advice to people. Like, you can do whatever you want in life. If you know you're doing something wrong, you stop yourself. Don't let the universe stop you. So, like, one day, I just stopped making bus passes. I was just done. I had a car. Too many people coming up to me in school. Too much business. Too many people asking me. Too many people knowing me at different schools for fake bus passes. I'm not saying the bus people caught on, but it was just too much. Sometimes you can just sit back and you're doing something wrong. You don't want to be greedy. There we go. I never was really greedy. I got my obtainable object, my car. I didn't want to deal with that anymore. I would sell CDs. If you want me to make you a CD, I'll sell you a CD. It's fine. Because nobody thinks burning CDs is illegal, so we can get out that space. The bus pass situation, I didn't want to get caught. There we go. I didn't care about the greed. I just didn't want to get caught. So, quit making bus passes. Boom. I think that was the let up to my next biggest thing. So my next biggest thing, which is a really good thing to put on camera right now, is that, because I'm rambling again, but it's a never good story, I'm telling y'all. I used to work at Osco Drug. It was the connection part to Jewel Osco. I'm at Osco Drug working. My boy Walter Cullen, I hope he listening to this, because he a principal now for like a high school, but he was my boy. He worked there, star basketball player. But like we had two different lives. Like he was the star basketball player, he'd come to work sometimes, and then I was the guy who always worked, like picked up shift, left school to go to work. So we was on two different ends of the spectrum, but he was my boy. So I'm at work one day, and we just talking, you know. He like, bro, you ever use your discount here? I'm like, bro, I don't need nothing from Osco Drug. Like, I legit don't need anything from Osco Drug. I legit probably don't need anything from Pick and Save right now in their pharmacy department because I'm just not that guy. But he explained to me, and this is why I can see the loopholes in my mind now that I use for business that are illegal, but avenues I use to make money. But he told me that Osco Drugs discount was you get what they paid for the product.
Unit price.
So if they paid, let's say they had a Tylenol, and the bottle of Tylenol was $24, but they paid $11. Our discount was we got what they paid for it. So it took me, once again, my mind state, I'm working. It took me a while. I'm like, man, okay, it's easy. I got to find something in here that sells at a high frequency that I can make the same margins that they making, and I can just use their inventory to fund it. Basically, what is now drop shipping? Honestly, what is now drop shipping? Fund using somebody else's inventory, having your store to sell the inventory, and then they send the product. Because I was gonna have one product, say I had 20 of them, and then when you bought it, I sell it to you. The problem I had was I didn't know who to sell Osco Drug stuff to. And this is the genius, yet very illegal part, which I don't want to promote to kids right now, but I figured out the best person to sell the product to, because it wasn't no internet. Now we just had a website, eBay, all that illegal stuff, but it was illegal because I basically was stealing from them. I apologize, guys, who own Albertsons, the company, but at the moment, this is a kid, this is how my mind thought. I was like, I'm just gonna sell Osco Drug back their own product. I didn't figure out how, but I knew if I figure out the product that had the biggest margin, at the very least, I can get store credit. So if I bought a product for $1, and every dollar was $5 store credit, my $5 is $25. So I was like, okay. Now this is me thinking. I swear this is the stuff I used to talk about with my friends. We didn't care about nothing else but making money, buying shoes, changing the car every year. Shout out to all my friends at that moment, Aaron. That's all we was about. My best friend, Aaron, Desmond, Dante, Troy. We all day, that's what we talked about. Now, it was to obtain things like games and cards and clothes we wanted, but that's all we were about was money. Like I was come to the lunch table like, no, I got it. This is what we gonna do. Blah, 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 blah. They be like, nah, that ain't gonna work, bro. Nah, we're gonna have to pay to get in the concert. I'm like, why? They was like, cause they go scan every ticket. Like, we trying to find any way to avoid paying for stuff, you know? So now when I told them my idea, once I figured out the math, what I figured out was, and this is gonna be a crazy formula, I figured out that if I bought batteries, they had the highest margin for Osco Drug. After scanning 100-something products in Osco Drug, 100-something SKUs, the highest profit margin was batteries. They were selling battery packs at like $29 that they were paying like $4.99 for from Energizer. $5.99. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like when I figured it out, I was like, what? Batteries? I swear, I'm not lying to you, bro. It was batteries. Like, no lie. Everybody can vouch for this story because everybody knew who was around me. So this is the truth. So this is what I decided to do. And this is the part that makes it illegal. But this is the part that I learned how to make money because it was a certain part of my life. So we can fast forward for a second. That I stopped doing illegal stuff. Like, hold up, I can use this illegal knowledge to make legal money, you know? But in the beginning, this is what I thought. I said, I'm going to buy 5 batteries on discount. No, that's wrong. I'm going to buy 5 batteries full price at $125. I'm going to buy 5 of them at $2.95, $3.95. So now I'm trying to make, quick math, $15 let's say $20 of the tax into $125. I'm trying to make $100. That sounds about right. I'm trying to make $100 play. $100 was always the goal. You could do anything with $100, even till today. So now that I think back to it, it was perfect. It's a genius thing. I printed duplicate receipts from the first transaction, which made the second 5 I bought worth $125. Bro, when I say I felt like a madman at the house when I figured it out, we were screaming, we was jumping up and down. You would have thought we figured out the safe code to the bank, U.S. Bank.com. Like, I thought I was rich. I hadn't did it yet, but I knew that would work because I had seen people come in with duplicate receipts and get refunds because you can ask for a duplicate receipt. People did it for taxes back then. They did it just in case they lose their first receipt. It wasn't no email or text receipt. So it was nothing to print a duplicate receipt. I knew how to do it. I did it multiple times. Boom. I figured it out. Got a friend. He came in. He bought 5 of them regular price. Boom. I gave him 10 duplicate receipts. Duplicate. Boom. He leaves with 11 receipts. I go back and buy 50 batteries on discount. 50 batteries on discount. So that's 10 plays. That's 50 batteries. That's $1,000 we're trying to make. We drove to every Osco drug and jewel Osco we could find and returned all the batteries in a day. Now, electronically, you would get caught up very quickly because receipts are tracked very easy by loss prevention. Just as a disclaimer. But back then, it was none of that. It wasn't no, this is my inventory. It came from this store. It was, sorry that you got the wrong battery, sir. And I had friends who would go return them because I didn't want to go into the place I worked. Even when I worked there, it was the company. Whew, that thing went on for a while. And then, being good old Luther in that moment, I did it. It had to be like Christmas break or something. Everybody thought we was going to do $1 million and do it forever and buy Rolls Royces and crazy things. We probably made $5-6 grand and I deaded it. It was over. That was the end of it. That was the end of the plot, the scheme. I didn't do any more duplicate receipts. I wouldn't let nobody else do it because what I learned was my friends were greedy. They were down to throw themselves down the chute to try to do 100 grand. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I start figuring out we have no more batteries in my store. I bought all the AA's, AAA's, C's, D's. I bought them all. It's nothing else to buy. They're at the other stores. And I can't print duplicate receipts from the other stores, so I got to buy them from my store. So I said, hey, we done. The game's over. Hitches up, So those things, because I wasn't going to talk about them, but you asked me the second question, so I felt like it was meant to put it out there. In that moment, just to wrap up that little younger me, when we did those illegal younger things, I knew when I went to college that I could do legal stuff with that knowledge that wouldn't be legal. It kind of It came together in that moment. Like, hold up, I don't have to do illegal things because I can use that same knowledge to just find a product and make money in the middle.
It translated well.
It translated very well. It was the wrong energy, which is what I like to use now. It was the wrong energy. I was putting it in the wrong places. But even as a kid, just being fair to myself, I had the thought process. Like, okay, it's an item. We can make money in the middle. This is the process to making money in the middle. We're going to duplicate it, and then we're not going to be stupid enough to be greedy enough to tank it. Like, I learned that from the Pokemon cards. Like, that's like going to jail. Like, once you tank it, it's over. Like, if I wanted to do it when I needed the money, I couldn't do it because we just tanked it. That's the same thing with the Charizards and the Pokemon cards, equating it all to me becoming an older adult. It was like, there's no reason to burn it up because if I need it, I could use it. If I needed to make a quick $1,000, I could. I knew exactly what to do. So I wasn't going to force it, just to throw it away. Because my friends wanted to go buy new Jordans every week. It wasn't, I was still working. I was still going to work every day. They was the ones, needing it. So my early days as a high schooler and a middle schooler were spent selling Pokemon cards in middle school. High school, I got into a little bit more devious things. Thank God to the internet. Thank God for Napster. Thank God for the internet. I didn't do anything really more wild than that. Just a little caveat that really made me who I was back then was that I always had a car. I figured that out young. No riding the bus, no riding a bike if you got a car. A very good story. 2 minutes, a minute, I promise. My mom didn't want me to have a car. No car. It's a liability for her. I smack somebody, they die, they sue her, not me. Truth of the moment, I know she was being right because I worked at Allstate later on in her life. So mom was right in that moment. Once again, me being me, nah. Went in the newspaper, classifieds is how you bought a car back then. Pulled up on a guy, honestly, no lie, on this busy street, which is, what's this busy street where this is Domino's is?
Oakland.
Thank you, Oakland. Bought a car from the guy in Oakland. I promise you, right here, the guy, my cousin my cousin was with me, Kenny. It was a 2003. I'm going too far. First car I got was a 93 Pontiac Grand Prix. A guy went to the auction for me. F'd me over. Came back with a shitty car. Cut off at the light. So the next car I just sold that car to somebody after driving in a couple months. I learned that cars were a commodity. Sold that, got my money back. And then I bought another car. This car, best thing that ever happened to me. A red 95 Pontiac Bonneville, leather seats, sunroof, CD player, multi-CD player, seat massager. No lie, seat massager. The guy said that his roommate owed him money on the rent. He gave him the car to sell. He needed the money for the rent. He'll take whatever it was, $1,100. I hid both of those cars from my mother. She never knew I had them. The second car I threw in her face one day. We got in an argument. I put up in front and famously said, "You don't think you?" She's like, "I know everything you do. You think you being slick, lying to me?" I was like, "No, you don't know everything I do." She's like, "Yes, I do." So I left the door open, pulled up, honked the horn. She came out like, "What's this?" I'm like, "This is my car." Showed her the title, like real, So that's like a good caveat to me. Like, but even back then, I was selling cars. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I would get a car, sell it, get a car, sell it, get a car cheaper, sell it, get a car cheaper, sell it. And now I'm not saying I wouldn't sell it fast like I do now. Then I was keeping them 8 months, 9 months. But we were always changing cars, even my friends, because we were buying them outright cash. And then somebody offered you more for it, would you pay for it? Would you go buy another one? They weren't as hard as they are now to find. So that leads up to my college point in my life where I was selling cars a little bit, maybe like 5 or 6 cars in. And then I had the Pokemon cars when I was a kid. And then the legal stuff in high school. And that was just young me in Milwaukee. That's what I'm learning. Like, that was my life. Going to college, I lived a totally different life, but that was me up until 18. My mom famously left. Oh my God, I'm a legend. My mom moved out the States. Came in one day. She said, "Boy, if you come home late one more time, break the curfew one more time, you got to find somewhere else to live." Moms being moms, she owned property, she had rentals. She could change a lot. She's 63 right now, she changed a lot. She know how to change a lot. She owned properties. She had to kick people out. Changed the locks. Came home, put my key in, didn't turn. Slept in my car a couple of days. Shout out to my auntie Janice. Let me come stay with her for a while. My mom was kind of beefing with her because of that. Because my mama wanted me leaving the car. Like, no, he want to be grown. Grown people homeless when they don't listen. Let them be homeless. So auntie Janice helped me get my own place with my cousin. We had our own place on 20th the Capitol. I had my own place in high school. My mom was like, "Oh, you grown? Cool." Moved to Atlanta. Mom's moved to Atlanta. Middle way through junior high school, my mom was not there. My dad's not there. I got family in the city, of course, plenty of family, and they love me, a lot of them. But we were on our own. Like, I was one of those 16-year-old kids, like, I'm not going to school today. I'm going to make some money because I got to pay a bill. That's real life. I know now because that's real life now. So, I just know that was real life back then, So just famously in that time period, I was a kid living by myself with a car, with a house that anybody was invited to, always working, always the life of the party, had good grades, had friends. I wasn't as popular as what I see people were in high school. Everybody knew me, everybody loved me. More in that's Little Luther. He had the fro. I had braces famously for all 4 years of high school. So, it was just like, it was life. I had a normal life, but I see now as I look back on when I meet you guys, I can see it in you guys, like, you guys' mind is just open more than kids who just like, "Do you got white shoelaces in here? Or do you see any shoelaces for sale? Have you ever seen any shoelaces for sale? Go to the store and buy white." Like, you guys didn't ask questions like that, Yeah. And so when I look back on it, I could just see and y'all see this when y'all get older, that some of the stuff that shaped y'all when y'all was younger was stuff y'all parents did. The stuff that y'all noticed as kids that y'all rebelled against y'all parents, which kind of now kids do all the time, and they become Fortnite players nationally or make money on Bitcoin, all types of crazy things now. It's that you listen to your parents, yes, but sometimes just if you can conceptualize and figure out something, maybe try it. It doesn't hurt.
Oh, 100%. Man.
Sure.
That was nice, dude.
Yeah, that was early me. That's early me for sure.
Well, let's get on the journey that led to Trusted Kicks. Like, when did you open, and I guess how's the store changed over time,
Okay, the story to Trusted Kicks is a very good one. It's kind of quicker than my youth story, only because I had stuff kind of figured out back by then. You know, so as a kid, I was poking around. By then, I had it figured out. I was in college, Nashville, Tennessee, at TSU. At that time, I was still selling cars. Okay. That was our thing. We would buy a car in Nashville, a Camaro, which was cool to people up here, and not cool to people down there for like $800. Drive it on the freeway. Now to think about it, very dangerous, unregistered, no oil change or nothing, no real test drive. Just drive it on the freeway, 8 hours, back to Milwaukee, resell it when we got here, buy a Crown Vic here, take that back to Nashville and resell it, because those weren't worth nothing here, and people in Nashville love Crown Vics. So I played the markets against each other. What I did was, now I'm in grad school. I spent a lot of time in undergrad partying. Don't want to skip that. Undergrad was amazing. Spent 5 years in undergrad. A lot of student loans. It was worth it, though. A lot of connections. Everybody in Nashville loved me. I lived there for 7 years. I never really was the shoe guy there. That's a very good point. I had shoes, but I wasn't the freshest. As a team, as a Milwaukee team, me, Kwesi, B-Huff, B-Suave, people that I went to college with, they came from Milwaukee, and I met them there. We all clicked up together, Mark Peterson. As a team, we had shoes. I'm learning that now. Kids do this all the time now. Back then, it was frowned upon. I would go wear their shoes everywhere. So it looked like the perception was I had a lot of shoes. When they really were Kwesi shoes, I was borrowing B-Suave shoes, changing their laces and Huff shoes to throw them off, because I was a kid who didn't have it. You know, I was in college, but we did that a lot. And I'm pretty sure other kids did too, if you ask them. So the thing that kind of led me to the sneaker store, Trusted Kicks, was that graduated from my undergrad with my criminal justice mass communications. I came back to Milwaukee. Oh, this is a good point, to the Trusted Kicks. I wanted to, I'm learning, disclaimer, I'm not down talking these professions, because in that moment, that was my career. I was going to give it all up for this one thing. No graduate school, no Trusted Kicks, no nothing. I wanted to work for Pepsi. I wanted to take the cans and drive the trucks, take my CDLs and drive trucks to take the cans to the gas stations. They make a lot of money, like $60,000 a year, $70,000 a year. They get up early, they done early. It was the perfect job for me. Went there, got the second interview, famously. I hate stuff like this. Y'all gonna go through this. They denied me the job through the email. So like, I'm waiting on them to hit me up to say I got the job, and I get the email and they say I didn't get the job. I'm hurt. Like, okay, go back to the drawing board. I find an even better job, even better. MATC was hiring for something. I can't remember what it was. It was some kind of not adjunct teacher. I don't even think it was a teacher. I can't remember. It was something at MATC, paying the same amount, school hours, holidays off, summers off. I'm ready. This is it. This is the dream job. I don't get it. Take the test. Excuse me. First interview, second interview, final interview. Get the email. Don't get it. The bailout that I have is, if I don't get a job over that summer after I graduate, I can just go to graduate school, because I was smart enough to apply for graduate school. Because on some kid stuff, I'm like, it's free. And me being honest with a lot of kids who are going to be listening to this, I really wanted the refund. So I'm like, y'all don't hire me? Grad school will give me a $5,000 refund. Disclaimer, once again, not as smart. I owe a lot of student loans right now for those refunds. There's not free money. But in that moment, I needed that $5,000. I was always preaching, they going to pay me to go to grad school. I'm going to get $10,000 a year to go to grad school. Nobody want to hire me. I'm going to go to grad school. I don't got to pay my loan back, and they're going to give me $5,000 transferred to my account for a refund. I was fine with that. So I went to grad school for 3 years. During grad school, I got a job in Nashville at an insurance company, Allstate. Claims adjuster, best job I ever had. This was the career job. This was it. Like 40 paid days off a year, $50,000 before taxes. They had a pension plan that when you retired, you got the 401k match, $1 million after 20 years, and the pension was $1 million. Spread out, of course, after the years, but it was $2 million. Like, that was, when you signed the paperwork, that was like, no, we're going to give you $1,000 bonus, and if you follow this path we have with the match that we're going to give you, you're going to leave here with $2 million. To the point where people in the office was just like, What you doing when you retire? What? I'm moving to Sarasota, Florida. I'm out of here. Allstate got my time. I'm gone, you know. So I'm working at Allstate. This is the Trusted Kick story. Right after this, I promise, because this is when I learned about life. I'm working at Allstate. I go into the situation like I'm the man. I am the man. Like, I could take this over. Okay, cool. I become like the number one claims adjuster in the area. Like in like the Arizona, in the Arkansas, Tennessee, I guess they still call that like a region that we represented. I was number one. Number one in claims closed. Number one in claims money saved. Number one in times talked on the phone. I was just getting stuff handled. I will never forget this. 3 weeks straight, I won employee of the week. Dude walks up. He was the man. I ain't gonna lie. He was always nice to me, so I'm not blaming him because it's not his business. Once again, he has broke the record. People going crazy. Like, oh, I'm hyped. I'm hyped. He has saved us over the past 3 weeks $78,000 in claims. I can't do it. Oh my God, they look at me like, oh my God, I'm standing up there, I'm feeling like the man, like LeBron, like, well, I'm Kobe. I'm the guy, like, y'all is peons. How long you been doing this, bro? Oh, man. Because I was a legend. Like, I come to work 10 o'clock, it was salary. I had to come as long as my voicemail would say I come when I want. I come to work at 10, I'm out by 2. They slave at 8 to 5. They looking at me, they trying to figure out if I'm doing something illegal to the computer. Like, they want to investigate my machine. I'm like, no, bro, I ain't doing nothing that y'all can't do. Just caveat, I knew about simple stuff. Google Voice. People wouldn't answer for them. They spent half their claims trying to get people to answer. Me, I would just text you from Google Voice a simple message. My name is Luther from Allstate. I'm a claims adjuster. I may have money for you. Give me a call at this number. I don't care if you hit my claimant in the back. I don't care if you hit my person I'm representing in the back. That was just the message I sent to gain contact with you, which is one of the things of the claim. You got to gain contact. So I can say I spoke to you. Even if you hang up the phone, I can say I spoke to you. And it's on a recorded call. We can use that when we go pursue you later. Use your voice, all types of crazy things. So I gave up that hint to my boss one day. She like, what are you doing to make you... I'm like, man, listen. I'm going to give you one hint, all right? Because it's still a competition in the office. Because I'm learning them office settings are more like who can work the best, who can work the fastest, So I'm like, I ain't going to give you all my tips, but this is what I'm going to do. It's Google Voice, all right? You got to text people. People are text messaging. People are not answering their phone for numbers they don't know. They don't have to. If you know them, you'll text them. She's like, well, we're leaving voicemails. I'm like, and they're hearing the voicemail and they know they hit us. They're not going to call us back. That's what I would do. Why would I call us back if I know you said we hit us? It doesn't make sense. Gave her the tip. We at the next meeting. She's employee of the week. For her Google Voice idea. Swear to God. I'm not lying. I'm like, I'm appalled. Bro, I'm Thomas Edison. I felt like I was Thomas Edison. Like, I'm watching my invention be taken under my nose. They sent out a memo. I'm talking about countrywide. I'm talking about, you ever seen one of the memos that everybody CC? Like, all employees? Like, all 10, 15,000 claims adjusters got it? Everybody got it. She got a big bonus. I know she did. And I'm not mad at her because that is the nature of the business. So what I learned in that setting that's going to help me get the Trusted Kicks is that the ladies who I work with told me famously, because I came to them like, hey, why I'm not getting a raise? I've been here 2.5 years. I didn't see Joe Smo, who I know numbers not better than mine because they post it every week. He is in SIU, security department, making like 100, 120. He got a new avalanche truck, got guns that he has in his window. Like, he's the man. She explained it to me. She said, because your manager wanted to move him because his numbers weren't as good. I was like, whoa. She was like, would you trade Kobe Bryant? Would you trade LeBron James? She's like, that's not the way this business works. They keep the people who help them make them look good. They surround themselves with people who make them look good. And just the funnel of the business, everybody else has to get shifted other places. And if you shift it to the right place, they don't care. They're going to shift you somewhere and make you 80 grand. It ain't their money. You just off their team. So now I got to figure out a way to get out of Allstate. My entrepreneurship kicks in. I said, no, this ain't going to work. It's just not gonna work. I can't do this for 20 years. Don't care what nobody say. Mom's just like, stick it out. It's not that hard. You go when you want. I'm like, nah. Then I just start blatantly doing stuff like, I think I'm gonna smoke weed in my lunch and go to work and just see what happens. Nobody caught me, so I'm really chilling now. So I'm like, all right, cool. This is what the Trusted Kick story has spawned. In that moment, I was at Allstate working. When I say I was buying every shoe that came out, like I famously got a picture when I got like 14 phone posits in my arms, like when they were $200 retail. Like I was buying every shoe that came out. Shout out to my boy TF Fat Caps in Nashville. He had all the releases. That's the first time I found out about City Gear also. It's a down south store. I was buying every release. And honestly, this back in the day, and it's what the sneakerheads want to hear, this is back in the day when all you had to buy, man, I miss these days, was a Jordan apparel item to guarantee the shoe. And I'm talking about weeks ahead. It's Thanksgiving. My boy, I don't know if he still got the contract. So my boy's like, yeah, you want to get them Jordans? I'm like, yeah, bro. He's like, just give me the money. Buy a Jordan shirt, give me the money. You can't get them early, but the day they come out, you can come pick them up. I'm like, cool. I'm doing that every release. The problem I ran into, which is what I learned, was I had piled up so many future releases. When another release would quick strike and come out, I wouldn't have the money for it because I didn't pre-order the last 5 or 6 releases. So this is where Trusted Kicks came in. Now I'm in line, Nashville, Tennessee, Antioch Mall, in the, I can't remember the store, I say Finish Line, to get the shoe when it comes out. It's the Concord 11, white and black, 2011. That's right, that's the correct math, 2011. Comes out in December, before 2012. Because Trusted is about 11 years old total with the website and everything. So I'm in line, and this is a very good point of the story. I'm in line, $0 in my bank account. 0. Like my boy Huff, he with me. Quasi, he with me. They got their money. They know I got 0. I know I got 0. But once again, me being me, I got it figured out. I got overdraft protection. I'm cool. They're going to charge me $35 to swipe the Jordans right now? Put my bank account in the negative. Give me the Jordans. I don't care. Give me the Jordans. I don't care. Bing. I'm telling y'all right then and there, I'm not lying. My boy Huff and Quasi, they were there. I don't know if they remember, but I do remember vividly. This is the moment. It hit me like a sack of worms. I said, okay, we need a GameStop. We need someone who's lowballing on the shoes, because everybody will sell their shoes to get to the next shoe. Because in that moment, I was down to sell my shoes for cheaper that I already had just to get the Concord. Feeding into the hype, which is what we all do now, I would have did whatever to get the Concord. So in that moment, I'm in line like, dang, okay, I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing this wrong. Like, okay, I'm doing this wrong. That's what I'm thinking to myself in the line. Like when I go home, I'm like, hold up, I'm consuming this product totally wrong. I'm really wasting money. This is when I'm thinking like, okay, I should be, instead of buying every release that comes out, I need to buy the hype releases, multiple sizes, and then sell them for more. This is like my early reseller dream idea, like 2011 exactly. I'm on a forum everybody was on called Nike Talk. That is where people got shoes for you. It was a community, of course, but people were just getting shoes for people to be friends. Only the people who selling online were like a few famous people that were on eBay. Nobody else was reselling shoes. We were doing it to be cool. Like people would buy me shoes at the outlet in Plainfield, Michigan, that they take a picture of and they upload with a digital camera. I want people to know this. I like to tell people this. I used to go places with a digital camera, look like a fool taking a picture of a shoe on the rack. That is a normal practice nowadays. I want to let people know that. I had a digital camera in my pocket. People thought I was weird. I would go to the stores, the outlets, take a picture, upload it from my camera to the computer with a cord. Wait the time to upload it. Then wait the time for it to upload on the hosting website. Then take the link, insert it in HTML on Nike Talk. This is how we consume sneakers back in the day. This is where Trusted Kick started. So I'm like, cool, I got the job. I got the idea. I love shoes. It's perfect. I love shoes. It's perfect. So I'm like, I know it's perfect. I know it's going to work. In that moment, I knew it was going to work. I just didn't figure it out, but I knew it was going to work. What I started doing was buying up all the releases. Easy. What I saw T was doing, which I know now he was doing, was he was leveraging our hype to take in the capital to pay his bill. I don't want to say that. To do other things with the money and then still give us the shoes because he got the shoes half off. So if he had 40 pair, he sold 20 early, he can make the upfront profit up front. And all he got to do is give us the shoes that he don't got to pay for a net 90. I mean, 90 days later, he don't pay for them because that's what you do when you got an account. So he really was leveraging me buying a shirt because it makes his apparel look good. So Nike and Jordan think he's selling a lot of apparel, which help you got the shoes. And then he was getting their money. He could do what he wanted with it up front. So what I start doing, taking pre-orders. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. Nobody's really buying Jordans like that. My boys go to Memphis. They can give me a lot of Jordans in Memphis. In Milwaukee, it's mayhem to get shoes. My boys in Milwaukee are down to pre-order them because when I see them, no Cash App, Apple Pay, Zelle, no PayPal. So just when I see them, they give me the money. Give me money, I pre-order it. Boom. What I'm learning in the pre-order game is people will not pay you when the shoe comes out. People will want their money back if they can get it retail. Excuse me. People will beg you to get a shoe for them. They get paid Friday before the shoe come out. Saturday, the shoe come out, you don't hear from them. I end up with shoes, no money, and shoes I can't fit. What do? I said, dang, I got these shoes. I got a lot of my shoes. What do? I promise you, this is the truth. You can date my conversation on this conversation point if you want to Google it. I went online to see if Foot Locker had a website. Store locator. Toys R Us, no web store. Store locator. These businesses had no web store. It was maybe 30 people online selling shoes. Flight Club, InStyle Shoes 99. These people, I can't remember their names, but they were the ones selling the shoes back then. That's when I was like, boom, I got it. Create a website. It's easy. Create me a website. Cool. I give my money to this guy. He is a little on the weird side. Lives like an hour from Nashville. I'm learning all coders are weird, honestly, no offense to them, but they're guys who like to be secluded and behind computers. He codes the first trusted website. I hate it. I use his kind of like a background or bare, let's say skeleton, to poke around and create my own website. So then I take all my shoes, famously sell them all for cheap, stupid cheap, to the point where I know now that's how I got started. If I didn't have the shoes for $100, $80, no one would have trusted me online. See, that's what I'm learning. In that moment, people were scared to shop online. You would take a chance on my Concord 11s from 2011 at $100 when everybody couldn't find them nowhere else. Wasn't no GOAT, wasn't no StockX. eBay had shoes somewhat. Flight Club was the holy grail of only brand new shoes that were $1 million. It was nowhere to consume shoes. I'm letting everybody know now. No Facebook groups, no Craigslist. So just dead. If you weren't selling shoes to your friends, you weren't selling shoes. Boom, figured that out. Started the website. Famously, me and Mark Peterson, my guy, going back and forth. He owns his own agency now, just to give him his kudos. So that was a good person to talk to. We were throwing around ideas. Boom, boom, boom. He said, "What's your name going to be? It's going to be most important." I said, like, Trust Kicks. He's like, "No, bro, because it got to be like past tense." I was like, because people already trusted me. So I'm like, Trusted Kicks. He's like, see if it's available. I domain search it, which is still you could do now. Crazy. I do that all day. Domain search it, domain available. Bought the domain, redirected the old footage, the old website to the new domain. Had the shoes on there cheap. That is the beginning of the Trusted Kicks. The part that everybody loves is when I decided to start the store, is when I knew that I could quit Allstate by selling shoes. The reason I knew that is because I had people hooked on trading shoes. Because people couldn't afford the shoes and they swore they wanted them. And I would just pitch it to them like, "Nah, bro, you bought the last 3 pair of shoes from me. Just give them to me. I'll be cool with that." This is before the days of values, before the days of eBay. I can shout people out all day right now, but I won't. Matter of fact, I got a good one because he won't be upset or embarrassed because a lot of people are nowadays. My boy Loud Pack Larry, 200 pair. legit 200 pair. And he would just, because I learned he wanted the new stuff. It didn't come out in Milwaukee. I sourced it out of Atlanta, Nashville, and Nike Talk. He was like, bro, I got to have it. He had so many shoes. He would just throw me bundles. Like, bro, take all of these. I don't want them. I can't wear them. I can't do nothing with these old Air Force Ones. Take them. I would put them on the website. The key to it was selling it all cheap because I got it cheap, gaining my customers, which now I have like a a 40,000 person customer list of people who have shot with me over these 11 years, like literal people who have shot with me, 40,000 addresses, names, separate than just like one order, like 40,000 people. So I was building that up. Lyle gave me stuff for cheap. My boy Adam Tango, who owns the agency now, the Butter Agency, me and him work together, and he's going. Not matter of fact, I don't work with him at all with that. He does everything. I just help him bring up some clients when I got him. He does everything other than that. But he sold me a lot of shoes for cheap. And then that's how I started Trusted. I started Trusted like that. Website's booming. I'm shipping everything at work. They don't care. Shout out Allstate. Supported all their employees. One guy who worked next to me, he became a drummer, went on tour. They told him, like, when you get off tour, you got your job. Like, when I was selling shoes, they would be like, what did you get? How did you know it was worth that? Like, these people loved you. Family environment, even though it's office politics, which I'm learning, it's always an office politics. Everybody's about self. Everybody got to feed their family. No problem. Other than that, they were great people. They loved me. So when they seen this website was taking off, I kind of explained to them, like, I think I might have to, like, get a store. Like, because, like, a lot of people are ordering shoes from me. But this is when, like, this is not Amazon days. It's not, like, Google's Marketplace days, no Apple Pay. I don't even know why people was giving me their debit card information because the site was definitely not secure. Like, just being real, what I know now about security, about how they hack stuff now, maybe not as many hackers around, but my site wasn't as secure as it was now. But the internet was new. People were still shopping. My stuff was going out ASAP. I did a very good job of getting everybody what they needed. They said, okay, cool. If you want to go open up a store, because I told them it might be in Milwaukee, where I'm from, they said it's a site where you can go work in Bowling, or no, that's Michigan. It's Northbrook, Illinois. Here we go. Northbrook, Illinois. It's the headquarters of all states in the country. I can go work there. They're like, yeah, you can still run your store and you can still work. I'm like, dang, like, that's a player, you know? Like, I like that. So I submit the papers to transfer. Yeah, we got a window of like 3 years. I was like, run that back by me one more time. Exactly what does the window mean? Can I jump out of it at any time? Do I have 3 years to make my decision? Because I want to know, you know, it's my life. Nah, you know, like, I'm going to make a decision on when a position opens up in 3 years. I said, cool. That's cool. I like that idea. Go back home, go back to the drawing board, add my money up, think about what the heck I want to do. I figure out that, hey, what I'm going to do is do what the drummer dude did. Don't get fired. Just take a leave of absence. Yeah, I'm going to go start my store, but if I want to come back, I still got my licenses. I still got my training. I'm going to come back. They were like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You can't do that, you know. You can't stop you from doing that. It's not slavery. We can't make you work here, so it's cool. So I told my mom, very hard conversation to have with my mom. Right now, I'm pretty sure she would deny this conversation. Honestly, my mom denies a lot of stuff that she told me as a kid. You ask her now, she doesn't remember telling me I couldn't have a cell phone. She doesn't remember giving me an early curfew or making me walk to school. She has amnesia. She remembers her son that she promoted for the entrepreneurship. But I'm learning as a parent, that's what you do. You know, your son doing bad, you don't speak about it. He doing good, you know, you sing his praises. So I told my mom, she was like, nah, you're not quitting Allstate. You're not leaving that job. You're not going to find a job anywhere else better. Keep doing what you're doing. Run the website. If the internet is the future, like I was telling her, she's like, why you going to go get bills? Why you going to go get overhead? I said, damn, you're right. I can't get bills. I didn't think about that. I just wanted a store. I didn't do the math on the bills. Did the bills, went back, drawing board. Like, okay, I can afford to move to Milwaukee, sell shoes, but not open a store. But I could open a store at my house. Boom. Speeding up the story a little bit because it gets a lot easier with Trusted. Move back to Milwaukee. Move into a house on 52nd and Burleigh. It is famously Trusted Kicks. Doesn't have a sign. No one knows about it unless you know about it. When you come over, all the shoes are in the basement. All the clothes are in the basement. It is the setup that that hundreds of resellers have now. They have stuff in their living rooms. Mine was in the basement.
Okay.
Yep. I had a gallery almost. You know, like you go to my house, I had stuff for sale, a lot of stuff, because everything that was on my website was there. If I knew you well enough, you could come over. My girlfriend at the time didn't like that idea, which is kind of how the store came about, because she didn't want people coming to her house. I was fine with that. But now hindsight is people could break in and stuff like that. It's not as secure. But I wasn't thinking like that at the moment. So I famously was sitting in the living room, told my boy Gigolo Jackson, if the Bucks get a new arena, I get a store. That was my only thing, only condition. The Bucks were going to get sold. David Stern said if the Bucks don't get a new owner and get a new arena approved, we're going to shop the team. I was sad because I came back to Milwaukee to open the store because I love the Bucks and I want the team to be there, you know, so I can root them on, sell shoes to players. It's always our dream as resellers. So he was like, David Stern was like, you got to get a new stadium. Bucks approve a new stadium. That day I go out to look. I'm looking for stores. These are very good points to think about nowadays because all you guys have been to the store. The locations I picked out. The first location, Titonia and Florist. Deep north side, on the way to Brown Deer. It is famously a DMV in that place. The worst spot for a sneaker store. But the rent was super cheap and it was a month-to-month lease. Second option was 84th and Burleigh. 500 a month rent lease, 6-month lease. Still terrible location. Still was terrible because I could just look at it and know like, nah, it's not nothing really going on here. I knew that another store had opened called Boarding Pass. It had opened and closed. It was on Water Street. It was 2 doors down from where I'm at now. It's in the place that's called Brownstone now. Shout out Corey. Go to Brownstone. Support them at that bar right there. I love them. It used to be a place called Boarding Pass. They store shut down. I went back to Boarding Pass to get the store. Knocked on the door. The door said for rent. The guy doesn't open the door for me. Leroy Shanks is his name. He is a master property flipper. He's the man. So I'm not doubting any knowledge he had at the time. I think about it now. I didn't look as good. I had my cousin with me. He had cancer at the time. He looked bad. Honestly, I love my cousin Kevin. But, you know, he had cancer, you know. He was riding around with me because he didn't want to be in chemo all day. So he would ride around with me to help me find the spots. And we would just talk about it, you know, because he didn't really want to be there. And I didn't really want him there if he didn't want to be there. So, come, you know, he was terminally ill cancer. So call me, I'll come get you, cuz. So, of course, he didn't open the door for us. I'm talking to Leroy Shanks through the door now. I'll never forget this because I never treat people like this, but I understand why people do sometimes because they don't know who you are. But he's like, what's up, bro? I'm like, yeah, I'm looking to rent the space. He's like, nah. I just had a sneaker store here. It lasted 2 months because Boarding Pass was only open 2-3 months. He's like, nah, this is downtown. Sneakers ain't gonna work downtown, bro. I just believed everything you gonna tell me. I believe 3 other guys told me the same thing. Nah, it ain't gonna work. I'm sorry. My fault. Hey, like he was just like, I'm sorry. No, you can't put an application. It's no. I'm telling you right now, it's no. I'm like, dang, okay. Walking down the street. Mind you, I'm walking back towards the corner of Water in Michigan, where the bus stop used to be. I see the sign that says for rent above the first Trusted Kick store, which is also the Trusted Gallery, which is the barbershop now, that said for rent. So I'm like, man, all right, it's on the same block. Get the same effect. Why not? Shout out to Moda. Number one reason I put Trusted Kicks right there. Shout out to Moda. Nobody probably knows this. That was the number one reason I picked that spot. It wasn't no other reason. Wasn't the lake. Wasn't downtown. I knew Moda 3 was down the street. I shopped there as a kid. I knew if anything I needed, I can go to Moda 3 and buy it to flip it. That was my move back in the day. Moda was a low-key skateboard shop. They had a lot of shoes. People didn't know about them. I could sell shoes to people on the north side who didn't know nothing about Moda downtown. So that was my move. You know, Moda was my spot. So shout out to Moda and the boys over there. They've been legends. So I was open the store. All right. It gets good and quick, trust me. It comes down like this now. So got the store. No, I didn't. Called the landlord. She famously said, I will rent to you if you can pay 10 to 12 months up front. Whew. Rent was $1,300. It's $13,000. Quick math. My mind is blown. Like, how do I come up with $13,000? I don't got $13,000 in inventory. I don't own my house. Good thing is I own my car and I own my old school car. Sold both of those. Took that money. Was already going to the auction with my boy Damo Guapo. Excuse me. He's starting his entertainment business this weekend, Damo ENT, with his first party. So that's the good thing about him. I love him. He put me on selling cars. I took my money to the auction. It was early in the year. It was tax time. Sold cars. Got the 13 grand. Got the 13 grand. Gave it to her. One of the best things that ever happened. Because I bet if boarding pass had free rent, they wouldn't have closed. What I'm learning about being in a business is if you don't got operating costs up front, if you don't got cash up front, you really are at the mercy of if your product sells, because that's how you pay your bills. Even if you run it yourself, you still got to pay rent. Your lights got to be on. You probably don't need Wi-Fi, but you got to have those two things. The thing that worked out the best for me was that the city of Milwaukee was breathing on me so hard to get the permits for a sneaker store. I don't think they didn't want me to have a sneaker store. It wasn't a problem. It was just the store was permitted and so many other things before that. It was an office space. It was a girl jeans store. Then the girl jeans store moved to the bigger space. It was called Lucy's. So they were just like, we need to permit this whole thing. Took me from March to August, 5 months. If I had to pay the $1,300 a month rent plus bills, let's say call it $1,500 total, I would have been out $7,500 more money than I didn't have. But since I had already paid the lease up front for 10 months, it gave me the cushion that when the city didn't give me the permits, I didn't need to open because the rent was already paid. So the website was carrying me along. Opened up, took in some consignment shoes, had my shoes, probably 40 pair, 50 pair. Opened up Trusted in early August. I got the date written somewhere, but early August. That was 6 years ago. And then the rest is just, y'all was there. It was bananas. It just, just to toot my horn for 5.3 seconds. I never do. Probably one of the first sneaker resale shops in Milwaukee, if not probably one of the only central located ones. Probably one of the only ones doing events and pop-ups and vintage things, and one of the only people carrying Supreme, Bape, Off-White. One of the only people really taking a chance on younger people. I would give myself that. The sneaker game is more of an elitist game. If you got the money, you're cool. That's usually older guys. Back in that day, they frowned upon the kids. Oh, y'all waiting in line for shoes? I'm plugged in. I pay more for my shoes. Kids only wait for shoes. And I was more like, nah, I was a kid. I waited for shoes. Matter of fact, I might go out there and buy some shoes from those kids. So in that moment, you guys built the shop. All the kids that had around me, Simon, Taylor, Owen. I don't know what he's doing now, but Owen. Everybody who was around in that moment, they kept me cool and hip. Shout out to Josh Morkey. Rest in peace to him. He was the first person that ever told me about Supreme and Bape. I knew nothing about it before Josh Morkey, who went to UWM up the street, came to my store and was like, no, Rico, you're going to take this shirt from me. I remember it was the Supreme shirt with the world flags on it because people like Supreme. And I'm like, I have no idea what that is, bro. Legit, Josh Morkey, rest in peace. I love his parents. They're amazing people. I was selling Supreme and Bape. So that's like I said, the story gets easier as I get older. When I get to the Trusted Kicks part, I could run through that in 10 minutes, only because it would move fast. When I was a kid, it was more like, what am I going to do? I was at Allstate racking my brain. I got to get out of here. No offense to Allstate or people who work at Allstate. It's just I'm learning now. I have almost like an ADD personality. I got to be listening to music, watching ESPN, and got the phone call in my ear, record it, and typing notes. And I might miss what's going on in my music, but I'm listening to the phone call. They frowned upon that at Allstate. You got to focus on one thing. I'm like, bro, I'm the number one person in here. Sucker one. Legit, get off me. And then just fast forward to the how to start Trusted. I had the hunger to not go back. Still to this day. People will be like, man, I make $140,000 a year. I'm like, bro, I would go do that right now. I would need that. I would go work right now, 100. They want me to go run Foot Locker. I happily sell Trusted, or if they're going to guarantee me a lot of money, I'll go do that. I know about cash flow and things, but back then you wasn't going to convince me 45 grand was a lot of money. I didn't have nowhere near 45 grand saved, nowhere near it. You just couldn't convince me that that was enough to control my life and my future for the next 20 years and promise me $1 million, $2 million with the match. Like, if that's all I'm promised and I know that's what I'm going to get when I work here, I hate the monotony of I know where I'm going to be. That's what it was. I hate that Thursday. I could tell you where I was Thursday, September 9th, 2013, 12. If it was a day during the week, I was at Allstate working. I didn't like that. I just like the bounce around stuff. So Trusted started. Shout out to SneakerCon. I went to SneakerCon early in the Trusted days in Atlanta before I started the store. So I kind of knew I can get stuff from there. And then when I got the store, I was there. I just turned up. Just worked all day, all night. Shout out to my boy Tony Lamenzo. He was there. Laupac Larry was there. Damo was there. My boy Gigolo Jackson, his kids was there. Marion, Red. Like, these are kids that was there helping me wrap shoes before it was a Trusted. So I give them that because they worked there before it was cool to work there. They were more like, my daddy said you got the store. My daddy said I got to help you. Pay me. You know, it was more like that, you know. So I give them that. They were down from the jump. Denzel. I know they all going to watch this because it's going to be a legendary little podcast, because I definitely told the gems here that I never told anyone. So I just want to make sure I give them their flowers. But, you know, Trusted went crazy. Tony Lamenzo was there. It was times when he ran the store by himself, multiple days, multiple hours. They hated running into Tony because he was a buzzsaw. That boy knew numbers. He knew what it was worth. He wasn't going to overpay you. He wasn't going to give you a discount. That's Tone. That's who he was. I loved it. We made a lot of money together. I was going to the auction selling cars still because shoes wasn't hitting. Honestly, I mean, they would hit, but you got to wait for it to hit, you know? So Trusted took off from there. It was just bananas.
That's what's up. Yeah. Someone that you kind of brought up that I really appreciated about Trusted is like those pop-ups, you know. It really made y'all stand out. You know, you had Just Win and like Sneakerhead in the Bay coming out one summer and a wholesale behind that. And most recently, you know, I had Lakia come through for the one time. So like, how does it feel like to provide that bridge for like, especially Milwaukee, where that's not even popular? A lot of kids don't experience that. Like, what does that mean to, you know, really bring that to the community in the city?
That's a very good question, because I always feel like no matter what I do, because I know I moved to Houston for 2 years. I moved back now, but I know when I was in Houston, I lost touch with the Milwaukee community. There we go. Not Trusted, because we still had everything. We still made our sales numbers. Just the Rico touch. I didn't see you at MSX, bro. Why you didn't come? Like, I had something better to do. But no, we want to see you, the touch. What I learned was everything I do has to come back for Milwaukee. Today I uploaded a $1,200 Prada shirt, a $1,100 Balenciaga Triple S's. That stuff has to come to Milwaukee, because if I don't bring it, or the community doesn't source it, because there's a lot of good other stores sourcing good product now. So I'll give them that. In the beginning, we're going to talk about the pop-up time. Nobody was sourcing it. If it wasn't for Tommy Two Times, nobody had the heat, the rare heat. He was the only one really hoarding it. Tommy Two Times was doing it. MSX Todd was doing it. A couple people around the city, I don't want to forget them, but like nobody was reselling it. I was really reselling it. So I decided, like, hey, like, if I'm going to do something cool, it got to be for the city. So Simon, that guy at the moment was a kid, walked in the store like, no, you know what's big now? I'm like, what up, bro? Tell me what's big. Like, what up? You here annoying me. Tell me what's big. Sneaker YouTube.
Oh,
Short.
Very true.
Bro, when I say he said it like that, like he knew. Like, if he had the money, this is always my thing, my argument. If he was a millionaire, he would have been a billionaire by now. Just all the kids I know. If they had millions, they figured it out. So I'm like, dang, like, what you mean? He's like, no, listen, a YouTuber will come here for free. If he can do a pop-up at your store. I said, for free. I said, bro, like, I'll make you a deal. Right now you work for Trusted Kicks. I don't pay you. I don't give you nothing. I'm going to give you the login to the Instagram. You write as many YouTubers as you can from my Instagram with the high followers. See who you can get here. He already knew who he wanted. He said, I want Just Win. I said, what? Who is Just Win? I don't know these people, bro. I swear to God, I don't. And Just Win is the coolest, humblest guy in the world. Like, coolest. The man, you know, like, I didn't know who he was. So I watched it, the fruition to pop-ups. I went LA SneakerCon, 30-second story. I got a table, this kitty corner. This is the guy, and this is me. We set up. We ready. This guy is across from us with like 3 shirts on the table. That's all he has. His camera's like propped up like this mic. He's by himself. When I say, and it's the BT Experience weekend, mind you. So it's a lot of stars running around, you know. When I say that open the doors to SneakerCon, I hear a stampede. Like, it's like Lion King. Yeah, it's like that. Like, it's bad. Like, I don't know where they're coming from. It's Kais. The kids lining up to see Kais. That's the first time I've ever seen Sneaker YouTube. I went over there and asked him, like, what are y'all doing here? Like, what do you do? He's like, no, I'm a YouTuber. He was like selling socks or like I had did the math. Like, man, he might have just made like 20 grand in front of us with nothing on his table. Like, he had boxes full behind him. After day 2 at SneakerCon LA, his boxes are empty. He talking to the camera with the kids, signing their shoes, and I'm over there mind blown. I get back to Milwaukee. I say, hey, Simon, we need one of them dudes. They're the real deal. Like, we need one of them dudes. Hit up Just Win. Just Win came down. That was, like you said, the pop-up where I really learned that, hold up, if I get a star celebrity person here who sneakerheads like, that will bring attention to the shop. And then also in that moment, I mean, shoot, let's be real. Even today, who is going to have a pop-up at their store? Nobody is really reaching out and down to do the pop-ups. I'm going to name drop a few names right now. We had Among the Prime pop-up. We did that. Ben did that. Oh, you want to go to another one? Unfinished Legacy. 3 years ago? He might have the exact year. Maybe I had the store in Houston 2 years. So 4 years ago? Wale pop-up 4 or 5 years ago? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So once I figured it out, I was like, hold up. Milwaukee needs this. Still to this day, it's nowhere to do a meet and greet. We don't have a Melrose Sam Goody, or that's what the store was, but that's like a city store back in the day. But you know, they have staples. They have the Stony Studios, and they have all these things in all these cities, and they got House of Blues in Chicago. I was like, man, like, I gotta be the one. I gotta be the guy to do the cool stuff in Milwaukee. And the business behind it is everybody comes to my store, I make money, everybody finds out about me, everybody thinks I'm cooler. That's no problem. But I had to be the one to do it. Still to this day, like with the Lakia pop-up, like it was a moment where I was like, I'm watching her bubble. I'm watching the people around her who I love, like Kiki. You know, I just met her manager, you know what I'm saying, Chad. So like, I just love those people. And then like, as I see her bubbling, I'm like, man, we really got a double XL freshman. Like, that's like, to me, because I like music, that's like winning a championship. Like, Milwaukee, Wisconsin has a double XL freshman. She don't got to sell records like she just been doing, going crazy. She don't got to make videos and nothing like she been doing, still doing all that stuff. We got a double XL freshman. So I knew in a moment, just me foreshadowing, like I foreshadowed the Bucks having a stadium and me getting the stadium, the store down there was going to be good for the arena. Boom, built the arena, store, we right there by the parade. I could foreshadow that she need to have a store. She need to have a pop-up at Trusted Kicks. That's just me in my mind. I didn't ask for it. It organically came through her team and came to Trusted organically. But I knew that a pop-up at Trusted would just organically make sense because we got the space. We're central to all areas. To the suburbs can get to us, south side can get to us, north side, west side, lower east side. We're central. And I knew that if you're really going to do something big in Milwaukee and you trying to involve kids, we got to be involved somehow. You know, so the pop-up thing I knew was big for the city. You guys came down all the time. You guys used to camp out in front of the store. That the parents used to be like, oh my God, I see kids in front of the store. You know, it was just a whole different thing where I knew that it was good for the culture. In the moment, I had a big part in the culture. So I felt like it was my due diligence to do that. And I appreciate everybody who came out and supported it always.
That's great. And another thing that I respect that you've done too is kind of, you know, the employees that you've had at Trusted, Simon being one. he's credited on the podcast. He credited that Trusted helped build him and all that. So like, and I've we've seen it from the past 4 years. Just being that kid talking to you, telling you what you should do, all that. And now where he's at now, there's obvious growth there. So like, what does it mean to you to kind of be that mentor, for people like that, and also you're also like what you just said, your due diligence to the community. And
man, the good thing about that is, in the beginning, I didn't really take the role of role model. It was more like, I got bills to pay. Like, these kids are in my way. That's like the first 2 weeks of Trusted, literally 2 weeks, till I figured out that the kids are my consumers. Because I was an old fart who thought that the old guys were going to spend money with me. No, they weren't. The kids would come after school, during school, Paris. All the kids from Go to My Year. Is that Go to My Year high school? Or is that middle school? I can't forget. I don't want to butcher their school, but it's a school up the street they go to. They used to come down, famously walk down to the school, and I love them, Jay. So just with the mentoring part, as I get into the part where I did that, is that I had to make the decision that when I come across you guys, younger people or anybody, because now I'm learning is anybody, any age, and y'all had a question for me, my 5 minutes is nothing to me. Like, I hate to be that guy and say that. Like, people tell me, I swear, so I'm being honest right now. I came here to be honest and step out the humble box just a little bit. People have came to me and told me, bro, the information you gave me that day, man, I started that website. I use Shopify just like you said. I'm like, I'm glad I had that conversation with you, bro, but I have no recollection of that conversation. I'm just doing it on the fly. I'm just listening to you and giving you my honest opinion. I'm not trying to lead you to buy something. I'm not trying to lead you to drop out of school. I'm not trying to lead you. I'm just telling you, my opinion on this is this. If you guys always ask me questions. You had questions about shoes, this, that, and the third. If I had an answer, I would tell you, like, I feel like this should happen. So I think when it comes to mentoring, I'm learning that 2 things happen. And this is just another honest moment. People come to Trusted and they have a directional path that they can choose. You can do illegal things and figure it out and do illegal things. You can do honest things and take over the world. 90% of them go the honest way because they see me doing that, which is why I try to always go the honest way. And I'm learning that as they come up, truth moment, I make money when they're smart. Simon is smart. He's a genius. Just went pop-up. What? It's a YouTube up about it. A guy walks up and spends $10,000. Buys everybody in line shoes. Yeah. So just think about that. Nobody else would have did a free pop-up. Nobody else would want kids sitting in front of their store almost 2 days. They was in front of the store like Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night, all day Friday. Mm-hmm. Saturday was the pop-up. Like, Just Wayne had it turned up. He saw that. Their dedication came by, bought them in the store, bought Simon, Owen, put them, everybody, all the employees, put them on the counter, spent 10 grand. So, like, I just learned, like, if you be nice to people, you mentor people, you let them flourish. Like, I let Simon flourish with the pop-up, do his thing, have the sales, which brought the people, good things that happen. The attention will bring more money. So honestly, just jumping out the humble box, I help people, but that's only because I know if I help you, you're going to have me on your podcast 5 years from now. Now, I didn't know y'all was going to have a podcast, but I knew if I assist y'all and you go be the owner of a Benz dealership later, I can get a Benz for cheap. Create my network. My network is full of smart people. If I knew you were an idiot kid, I might not have gave you that much time. Now, I did give idiot kids time where I was just like, bro, stay safe out here. Like just throwing it out here right now just to make sure. I was always on kids' heels like, bro, you're taking pills? No, for real. Like, even back when pills were cool and stuff, I still was no, bro, that's not cool. Like, I don't even think it's cool to tell me that you are on pills or, because I don't respect stuff like that, So I was just a guy who was on their heels. And then I always knew that if Simon can make a pop-up pop. If Simon can get Just Win and come to the shop, he needs to work for me. And anything Simon wants to do, I'm supporting. He want to have a clothing line, cool. You're going to have a pop-up in Houston. It just has to be like that. That's just the way we grow brands organically at Trusted. I have done it for other people who never worked at Trusted. But I'm just like, nah, like the opportunities opportunities I didn't have, you will have. Like, there's no way Simon's not going to know how to do something that I made a mistake on. If I see him making a mistake, I'm going to tell him. Number one Simon mistake. He had his last pop-up. He wanted to be Virgil. He couldn't separate everybody showing him love, the shots, the pictures, with the Simon, we got a set of merch. I end up working the Simon event, but I know he got to have his moment. And he enslaved for me and many pop-ups for me. So now I got to change into work mode. And the next day we had a conversation about it. He said, bro, I understand. I could have hired more employees for that event. I said, now, you're not a small fry. You're a big guy, so it happens. But I got to step in and fully support them and mentor them, even when they want to be idiots. Like, yeah, bro, you're being stupid over there. It's your pop-up. I'm going to sell 19 shirts right now. I'm going to collect all your money. I'm going to run the car swipes. I'm going to get the cash apps. But we're going to have a conversation after this. And that's all, And Simon was a good person. I'm learning that. I mentor a lot of people, like when they just see me. I don't know how, but like see me, have a conversation with me for 20 minutes. I see them 2 years later. They're like, yeah, bro, I changed my major. You're right. So it's just, it comes from the inside of me in a place where I don't want people to make the mistakes I had to make 11 years into it. You guys told me, I don't know if we announced this yet. If you want to bleep it out, you can. But you guys told me you got a new space. First thing I said was, it's nothing like having your own space. It's the first thing I said, bro. Because when you're at work, like you said, you're at work. When you're at home, it's turn the game on. It's play the game. It's I can't get to work. Or I left my computer charger at work. You can disconnect. When you live what you work, where you live where you work, it's economical because you got to do that sometimes. But if you can afford it, the disconnect is enough. It's the disconnect is enough, So I just try to be honest with people. People love my Instagram, IG. I think that's why I got to get my YouTube going. I'm seeing a lot of people on YouTube, so I don't know, but I'm just a person that if you got a question, I'm going to answer it. If I think you're doing something stupid, I'm going to answer it. If I think I can make some money with you, I don't care how old you are. That is the key to this whole conversation and podcast. I don't care how old you are. Okay, let me reiterate that, I guess, whatever the word is. Make sure people know. You do not want to judge people by age. That goes to my mentorship. I never said Simon doesn't know what he's talking about because he was 15. I never said Owen couldn't work with me because he was riding a scooter to the shop when he was 11. I never said that. They had ideas. Another quick caveat, 5 seconds. Isaiah, who lives in Arizona, my man, he's a model now. Legendary trusted kid. Told me one day, like, Rico, you need a subscription website. I said, what's that? He said, look at Soul Steals. I said, what's that? My boys out in California, Soul Supremacy, they had a subscription website, which they still run, which is like my trusted club. He's like, nah, the money's in the subscriptions. I said, cool, bro, set it up. You set it up. If it works, it works. If it don't, we just delete it. I'm cool. Now we got 200 members, $20 a month, $4,000 a month that can pay the rent in Houston, and that was 4 years ago. So when I look at the numbers, and I never like to talk numbers, we probably cleared $250,000 in subscription fees, just off fees of charging people's card $20 a person. So what I do, tell him he's 14, he got pimples on his face, he got braces, he ain't right, and he got an idea. Let's try it. So like I said, people think I mentor, because I'm not, these other guys are just mentoring, like I'm a mentor. No. I'm mentoring so I can get money. If I see you can get money with me, or I can see in your future you destined for greatness, I want to be around you. Like, I just want to be around y'all because y'all destined for greatness, and this could be your greatness or something else later on in life. I just knew that support the genius youth. Like, I could look at people like, nah, bro, you got it. The things you're talking about, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to help you. Don't do what I did. Don't do the fraudulent battery thing. Don't make fake bus passes. You know what I'm saying? Make stickers, You know what I'm saying? So that mentorship thing is becoming more and more important to me the older I get. I'm learning that also the mentorship comes with the position I'm in. There we go. It comes with, I want to be the man. I am the man, which is where promote myself as, it comes with that. People are like, no, you the man. Tell me what to do. And if I got 5 seconds, I'll give you some tips,
Easily. Would there be anything that you'd look back at your, in your early life that you would hope you kind of knew at the time, as you mean? Like, what would you tell your past self, like some stuff not to do?
I got $1 million tip right now for everybody in the room and my past self. $1 million tip. $1 million tip. Like, I'm going to snippet this and post this myself when it comes out. It's $1 million tip right here. This is it. I don't know if I can curse, but we're going to say F shoes. My man said I can't. Fuck the hype. Stuff will never. If you want to be rich off the hype, be prepared to live in a money pit for the rest of your life. It's cool because we will get rich off the shoes and it'll make us cool. So I'm not going to say that. But I'm saying, like, I opened my Houston store at the same time that everybody else in the block opened the vintage store next door, and then we got the ice cream place next to us. The ice cream place sells ice cream from 10 in the afternoon, from 10 in the morning to 2 o'clock at night. They only have ice cream. You can't buy water. You can't get soda. You can't get toppings. You can't get a sundae. They only got single scoop or double scoop. No cash. Cash App card only. And that boy got a line outside the door 24/7. 24/7. When I saw the owner, he was like, bro, y'all made it through Corona? I can't believe it. I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm going to make it through Corona. Shoes is Corona proof, I ain't worried about that. Hype. People going to buy hype in any situation. Internet still work. I ain't tripping. I was like, bro, where did y'all go? You're like, I ain't seen y'all. He's like, oh, we just moved to San Francisco. I said, okay, so y'all started this 2 years ago. Y'all make enough money where y'all moved to the richest real estate city in the country. Nobody moves to San Francisco. Tech giants moved to San Francisco. They making money off ice cream. Now, I'm not knocking anybody in the area we in because you do your passion. What I'm learning is, as you become a better businessman, what you said, telling my younger self, sometimes your passion should be making money. Shoes was my passion, but sometimes I ran in a hamster wheel only because I was getting 10 pair of off-whites early, and I felt like I had to wear a pair to Vegas, which I bought at $700 and was trying to sell it $1,000, which was all my profit, which I did it for free. I did it to wear my pair. Wasn't that smart in the moment. And now those same off-whites go for $5,000 or whatever brand new. You just know in business. Shout out to my business partner, Gigolo Jackson. I got the hot dog cart with Aiden's Eatery. I got the barbershop. Just a good tip for everybody. It's smarter to put money into businesses that you don't have to keep putting money into. My barbershop, I built out $20,000. If my barbers rent the barbershop out at $100 a piece, 10 barbers, that's $1,000 a week. I have a young lady who wants to rent the back. Really have 2 young ladies battling for it right now. They don't know they're battling for it. So that would put us at like $1,150. Let's say $1,100 for quick math. That puts us at $4,400 total a month. The rent for the barbershop is only $1,400. So if I clear $3,000 a month at 12 months a year, that's $36,000. That's close to what I made at Allstate. I don't cut hair.
You're just running it.
I don't have to put $1 into it. They call me, be like, bro, can we get a Bluetooth speaker? Hell yeah. I just lost $4,000 in chargebacks the other day on my website. I lose like $150,000 a year on chargeback. It's a part of the business. It's a part of life of running retail. People steal from me. People at the pop-up stole a Sphere God Essential shirt. Couldn't find it for 4 hours on the camera. Had to run it back to the pop-up, and that's when it was stolen. Sometimes in the business game, you want to invest in businesses that are low overhead, low cost, low cash flow. Owning my barbershop, I went out and bought an 11-person apartment building. As long as the spots are filled, they're not filled now, because I don't care if it takes 5 years to get them filled. It takes time, it's a barbershop. But when they get filled, I'm gonna make $36,000 a year. I like to call those numbers 50 to 40. Let's call it 40 to be fair, because I have my vending machine in there. I make my money selling my own products. I'm gonna have my own beer, cream. Once it gets popping, I'm gonna have my own products come out. I know how to merchandise now. Like you said, telling my younger self to fully answer your question, merchandise better instead of just having a store, sell keychains, glasses, everything, and cut the $10 rack, encompass everything. I'm gonna make $40,000 a year off my barbershop and not put $1 into it. This is not smart what I'm learning, telling people stuff like this because they like to copy my ideas, but I'm fine with that because I copy people's ideas. I bought the hot dog cart for $3,000. $3,000. That's all it cost me. I drove to Memphis to get it. That's another $1,000. Shout out to my boy Thomas. He the one who gave me the idea. I went to go consult at his store. He said, bro, called me one day like, yo, listen, you need to get into food. Like, I know you the shoe man. I know you helped me increase my sales. I'm going to give you a tip right now. Get into food. Once I figured out that I bought the hot dog cart for $3,000, and if we want to be modest, we sold $15,000 in hot dogs in a little close to 2 months. All cash. Like, not all cash. Sorry about that. I'm not trying to dodge taxes. I'm just saying it's a cash business, so it's easier to have cash you can deposit in the bank account. But what I'm saying is, ask my earlier self, how much money would I have made for Trusted Kicks if I would have just put the hot dog cart in front from the jump instead of me wearing the off-whites? That's my, reinvest your money. Telling my young self that. Don't go to Mango's East and pop bottles. It wasn't Mango's East, it was Mango's. You don't have to pop bottles every night. Maybe I didn't have to go to every sneaker con, because some sneaker cons I didn't make as much money. I didn't know as much, But now I know in the businesses that I'm starting, because people always ask me, where the next Trusted? When's the next Trusted? I'm going to probably open another one, honestly. But my next thing is I'm focusing on the hot dog cart. I got one here. I paid $4,000 into it. I made $15,000 modestly. That's with bills and everything and buying the food. I just got one in Houston. Paid $1,700 for it. See the $2,300 difference? Because now I know if I see it cheap, I'm buying it. Why would I not have a garage with 4 hot dog carts in it? Because I'm never going to go without one ever again in life. And I had to get one in Houston because it's warmer. It's going to make a lot of money down there, residually longer. Because the hot dog cart in Milwaukee, I got a public storage for it. It's about to get put up. In a month or two, it's going to be too cold. You can't be out there when it's cold. In Houston, you can run it 24/7. So I would just tell the younger me, which is like I'd like to tell kids now, because kids think I'm the coolest person in the world because of the shoe store. And the shoe store made me cool, so let's be honest. Shoe store helped me to sell the hot dogs, helped me to sell the barbershop, all that came together. But I would just say make smarter business decisions. Don't go out and buy $7,000-$8,000 in Ashley furniture, trying to furnish a house that you don't really care about being at because you're going to be at work all day. But I was a kid. That's what I did. I didn't know any better, so just manage your money better. Invest your money into things that don't cost high cash flow. High cash flow means it's going to cost money that got to go back into it nonstop. If you own a bar, your cash flow is low because all you got to do is go to the liquor depot and buy liquor cheap. Pour it into cups, make money, pay your overhead. Low cash flow. You want to come buy shoes and be Trusted Kicks, let me shout out everybody, be All Goods. You want to source product, be Dead Stock. You want to be it's one right over here that just opened. Say Word, thank you. Yeah. I love Say Word. If you want to be them, you want to go online all night, look on your phone, work long hours, buy the product, sit on the wall, sit on sale for a month, and you think it's the greatest thing in the world, come be a reseller. You want to put the passion into it, do it. You want to make the quick bucks, just look at the things that'll make you the quick bucks. Shoes right now is oversaturated. Everybody has a reseller starter kit. 1 minute thing into this is everybody can buy a shoe now. The Obsidian 13s came out. It wasn't hard to get. They made it seem to be hard to get because they did early access and they make you feel like you're exclusive to buy it. All they're doing is pumping the market with shoes that they can sell direct to consumer through sneakers app. Keep making restocks on shoes they can keep making money off of. They don't have to sell it to the retailer. Like Playmakers doesn't have to pay half for it. So they can make their $20 item into a $200 item right from an app. The problem that did was that made it hard for us resellers. because everybody's expecting us to buy. So now you got to be a buyer and a merchandiser. You got to be able to tell people, like, I don't want Obsidian 13s. I don't want them. Because the money I'm going to put into them, I can just go buy a brand new Dunk. So I would just tell myself, don't feed into the hype. A lot of stuff now into resale is oversaturated. If you got a big enough customer base, you're going to make enough money because there's enough sneakerheads everywhere. But, just diversify your portfolio. Younger me should have been uploading YouTubes. I could have been had a podcast. My young boys got a podcast, killing it. But what I'm learning is everything's not for me. If I were to focus on the podcast, I maybe wouldn't have figured out the other ideas or opened up Trusted Houston. So everything in my path was meant for me. Or I would just try to help myself and a younger me to guide it a little bit more easier.
It was very smooth. I guess how's it been different down in Houston, like running the business down there than it has been here?
Okay. Another quick answer, because I'm trying to shorten up my answers. I'm learning I talk a lot. Houston is what we describe as Walmart. Trusted Kicks Milwaukee is a boutique. Trusted Kicks Houston is a Walmart. We are 1-2 miles from the Galleria, the third biggest mall and gross selling mall in the country, behind Mall of America and the Galleria in Dallas. We are the mall. You guys could go to Trusted Houston right now and run the store right now. As long as y'all got cash to buy, y'all gonna make the trades. They don't care who it is. They made that very evident the first week we opened. They broke in the store. Legendary. I was open 7 days, broke in the store. They don't care about me. They don't care about Trusted Rico. People in Milwaukee more care. Like, no, we ain't doing that to Rico, not Rico. Down there, it is more like, are you open? Do you have the product? Thank you, I have cash. It's more of a straight transaction. And it becomes overwhelming. Like, it's 500 people a day, 600 people a day. Milwaukee, 70 people a day. It's tenfold. It's 100 pair of shoes a day. It's turning down 300 pairs of shoes a day. It's spending $4,000 with one person at 10:40 in the morning. And you just opened. And you got to buy it. Because it's the craziest steals. Because this is just the end of it right here. Why my formula, why I believe it was better. Houston has one of the second oldest Jordan account in the country. After Athlete. Walters in Atlanta and after Athlete. The reason they are the oldest is because they had the patent leather bred ones and the patent leather royal ones. That's why they're the only two stores that had them, because Jordan gave those two shoes releases to their oldest accounts. That's why I know that. I moved to Houston. What I learned is Athlete has been flooding Houston with Jordans since 85. When we didn't get Jordans back in the day, Houston was getting them. No, it's sneakerheads in Houston. And I ain't, no offense to Milwaukee, because we got some heavy hitters out here. Brandon Maddox, I know he probably going to watch this. He's a hitter, We got some hitters out here. Nah, them boys in Houston, they been doing it. And so much stuff comes out, they got to sell their stuff cheap. Reason why people hate the new Rico, since I moved back, I would not pay high for your stuff anymore like I used to. I am not at the mercy of the Milwaukee market anymore, because I can just buy 350 pair in Houston. And they're going to give them all to me for the price I want, with a smile on their face. And come back tomorrow with 40 more pair. The same person. And be happy. Thank you. I need this 1,800 right now. In Milwaukee, we from the home of, no, you know what I had to do to get this shoe? You know how many apps I filled out for? How many raffles I filled out for? I drink at the Green Bay. Mayfair was the only mall in the state that got them. I had to go to Chicago to win them. Matter of fact, I heard this many times, I drove to Chicago to enter the raffle. It ain't that in Houston. Yeezys laying around everywhere. Yeezy slides sometimes laying around. Jordan 1 sometimes laying around. They're the right Jordan 1. Grade school size 4 sometimes laying around. It's life. It's Houston. They been had shoes. So when I opened up Trusted Houston, and to pat myself on the back and step out of the humble box again, I came down there on some Rico Trusted Kick shit. $10 sale. First day we opened, $1 off-white ones, $10 off-white Halloween blazers. I know how to market. Shout out to my boy Bailey and Soul 614, because I see they got the same guerrilla marketing. Like, I'm going to take over. If I come to your city, you going to know I'm there. And I don't care if you know for the next 6 months. I don't care if we make money for the next 6 months. We can break even. you gonna know I'm here. You gonna feel it. I'm gonna buy a shoe for 80 and sell it for 90 tomorrow. When now the shoe might be 160. Cause I got the customer base. Being honest to everybody right now, I got Houston. I got them. I don't gotta do as many low shoes if I don't want to. I can sit back and be Flight Club because I got everybody now. But to get them, I don't need a $10 profit because it was a commercial. It was the cost of gaining the customer. Now it's the opposite. Houston, Trusted Houston could be open 6 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock at night every day. Every day. It would not slow down. Never. Ever. It don't got to be Black Friday. It don't got to be Christmas. It could be September 9th. 14 people out front. Why? We waiting on you to open, bro. Why? No, like legit. I own the store. The same stuff that was here yesterday that when you left, bro, is here now. Nah, man. I know y'all got something new. I ain't going. Matter of fact, I'm away here outside in my car. Watch people come in with shoes, watch them leave without their shoes, wait for y'all to post them to come in to buy them. I'm going to spend my day off here. Multiple people do that. It's just different. It's a different beast. They all hype beasts. They want everything to come out. They going to give you their money for it. They got closet full of trades. They can't believe that you buying Air Max. You buying Air Max? What? It's been warm in Houston since the 90s. They've been wearing nothing but Air Max. That's all. They don't got Timberlands. They don't got Nike boots. They got Air Max for days. They got Air Force Ones for days. And I'm the only person patting myself on the back again who it's not just buying hype. Everybody in this room has sold me something strange before. Everybody in this room has had an item when it was like, I wonder if Rico take this. I'm just a random guy. I'm the baby pawn shop. Like, he might take that. And we got the stores that we know that they not going to take it. We not even going to take it over there and ask them if they want it. Because they just that stern on what they carry. I was carrying hoverboards when I first opened. It was the coolest thing at the moment. I could buy them overseas for $250, sell them at $800. People were trading shoes for them. I took the risk. Other people wouldn't. I'm not saying that I was smart enough to do it. It's just other people don't step out the hype beast box. It's stores that I can point to all around the country that look exactly like other stores. They go get them a big Supreme item, a kayak, a bike, put it in the middle, get them all brand new shoes. That's their store. That's them. They kill it. They get rich. I'm not mad at them. Me, I'm a still a $10 item, baby fat side bag, Louis V millionaire glasses used with the receipt, Gucci purse that I might cut up into a wristband. I'm still all over the place because I still got to feed my hype and stuff I like, and I still got to feel the weird people. See, that's what I learned. If you want to put every store into its own, like Foot Locker services these people, you know, some people go to a Value Village and Goodwill and get good shoes. I was just a Goodwill person. Like, I service the people who like used stuff, who are quirky. And I think in Houston, it's full of the city. It's full of that. No one looks at me dangerous. Nobody looks at me differently when I wear a 2XL shirt out there. Because Travis wears 2XL shirts. Nobody looks at me differently when I'm wearing Carhartt pants and they got holes in them and they're dirty. That is the style. Your style is your style there. If it's freeing to go there and live there. Nothing wrong with Milwaukee, but we all know here in Milwaukee is certain sections that you live under certain umbrellas. You know, you go places, you see people with Sperry's. You go to this mall, you're going to see people with these shoes on. It's not like you're going to go somewhere and see somebody with like this guy has on 10-inch platform shoes. Why? He's the strangest guy in the room right now, but he's Alexander McQueen down. You know, it's just different. You know, it's a bigger market. So Houston was perfect for the business. I always say Houston saved the business. Milwaukee was great for the business. I couldn't really scale the business from Milwaukee. I would always have to go other places to buy their shoes. I would travel to Dallas and Houston and spend $20,000 to bring shoes back to Milwaukee, all white NMDs, because they hadn't came out here yet. In Houston, I haven't been to a sneaker con since. Best way to put it. I come to MSX. I love Todd. I love y'all to talk to y'all. I don't buy anymore because every day in my Houston store is a sneaker con. Every day. And then I build a relationship with a person versus if I meet you at SneakerCon, it's a relationship, but you might go back to Germany or New York and shipping involved. No, you're in Houston, I buy something from you. If I hand you, it's a rapper in Houston from Detroit, I handed him $5,000 one day. Oh, he been back 3-4 days straight. Amiri, Prada. He can't wear it twice. He had to explain it to me like, no, bro, I'm happy I found you. Like, no, I shoot videos and stuff. I can't be seen in it again. I don't care what you give me for this stuff. Because if I sell it to any of my boys, they going to know I'm selling it. If I sell it on the street on my Instagram, people going to think I'm poor. I really need this to fund my career and go buy more stuff. Cool. Perfect. Take a gift card. Here's $20,000 in the last 10, 15 days. It's cool. You know, so Houston was perfect for the business for the standpoint that it's 28 million people in Texas. I always joke, if it's 28 million people in Texas, 1% of them like Trusted.
That's awesome.
It's 280,000 if my math correct. Times 10, because 10% would be 2.8 million. So yeah, that's all I need. That's all I need. You know, 1% of Texas love me. That's 280,000. I'm rich. So I love Houston. It's perfect. I can bring cool stuff back to Milwaukee, which makes me cooler. A lot of other stores popped up in Milwaukee. Beautiful community. I see them going to other places buying shoes. I could just specialize in stuff that they can't, because they don't have a Prada down the street. They don't have a Gucci down the street. They don't have 3 Balenciagas like I do. A lot more stuff circling. And when I bring it back to Milwaukee cheaper, then they can really source it where they go. I kind of got the upper hand.
100%. That's awesome. Got anything? Well, this was great talk. I'm really glad that you got to open up and just.
I've been waiting to tell those stories, because when my thing is I don't record stuff, so now I can go back and show people this podcast like 10 years from now. Like, no, bro, no, that bus pass story is real. I've been told the story. Go look at the tape. You know.
Straight up.
So, like I told you, I got anxiety. Like people think I'm just so out in the open. I am. I'm very good when I'm on, but like when the cameras is on me, when I'm worried about having white stuff between my lips, when I'm constantly looking at myself in the camera, when I'm worried about embarrassing other people in their lives, I can't be calculated. I got to talk off the cuff. My anxiety is high. So any other thing I did before this, I'm not down talking it. I'm just saying I was comfortable with you guys because y'all my boys. I could say things to y'all in this space that I knew wouldn't be judged as, dang, he did that. It was more like, okay, that was the Rico story, and that's what y'all wanted, you know? Yeah. And once again, I like to apologize for being late, because I know all y'all got times and lives, you know.
That's the last thing we worried about.
But I appreciate this, you know. Like, I need to get this off my chest. Like, I need this to be sent to my mom so she can watch and be like, dang, my son did that. You see what I'm saying? Because I would never tell her, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I appreciate this platform y'all give in Milwaukee. Let me give y'all flowers while y'all here. Nobody has content like y'all. Y'all do the content like I see the New York content when they be screaming in the streets, like with the dude, with the Spider-Man dude, like they be going crazy. Like y'all got like guerrilla marketing, guerrilla content. Like I know that the Lakia footage is gonna be bananas. I know when y'all do y'all write-ups and y'all voice overs, it's gonna be perfect. Y'all cuts are flawless. I'm on a plane watching it, like my famous saying, if these little guys grew up in LA, boom, they could have been a baby complex writer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just been more opportunity would have been better for y'all. But everybody's path is different. Y'all got your own thing. Y'all build your own thing now. Y'all own it. Versus y'all got to work for complex. Y'all don't own nothing. You know, so like y'all learn here. Y'all get to have people like me on the podcast, Simon, y'all peers, and then y'all just grow. Y'all grow into your space. 3 years from now, 2 years from now, 2 months from now, I get 5 more stores. I come back. Y'all tell me what's going on with y'all. You know, so I appreciate this. And I think, honestly, just giving because I know my stamp of approval matters a little bit. It don't matter, but to me it matters. Y'all killing it. Nobody better than y'all content-wise. No other blog. If people out there are striving to be better, just send it to me on the gram. I will give y'all kudos if y'all deserve them. I just follow these guys. This is the content I consume. I didn't go to the Unfinished Legacy pop-up. I didn't go to the June the Thrift pop-up. I didn't go to any of the events they covered because I live in Houston. I know who was there. I know what went on, because y'all the only people showing up consistently. And I always consistent when I did my thing. So I can see y'all growth, you know. I can see the team. I see the guys y'all got on the team separately, how they came together and where they came from. So, I mean, y'all killing it. I look forward to seeing y'all growth. I will be a supporter. Anytime y'all want to do anything, y'all want to host an interview in the shop, anything y'all need to do, I'm here for y'all. So, you know, y'all got me in the back pocket. So just let me know. That's
Thank
it.
you so much. Dude.
Give me another beer. I'm ready to drink one and go home.